What's going on, peeps? Let's continue to talk about a bunch of weird indie bands hardly anyone knows. I was reminded of an American folk band named Poor Man's Poison who became infamous for their protest song, Feed the Machine. This was used to protest last year's Minecraft mob vote. Yep, you heard that right. If you don't know my lore, I used to make Minecraft content in my early years using a soap dispenser and iPod Touch. We've come a long way. With that being said, I knew I had to cover this band no matter who they were, because the mob vote has always been incredibly dumb. Fronted by Ryan Hakker and formed in Hanford, California, this is the chaotic tale of Poor Man's Poison. Poor Man's Poison was formed in a small farm town, Hanford, California, by guitarist Ryan Hakker and Michael Jacobs, mandolinist Tommy McCarthy, and double bassist Dustin Medeiros. Each member has times when they'll sing, but Hakker usually takes the lead vocals. Hakker and Medeiros have been friends since middle school and encountered McCarthy at Hanford West High School. After graduating in 2006, the boys released their only album under edgy guitar-driven progressive rock band Done for Good, named The Cycle, on September 27, 2006. They needed to make a change in 2008 due to their drummer Dustin's health issues. What happened is that he developed severe tinnitus, which made it hard for him to play drums or do loud music in general. The band was looking to part ways forever, but during that time, Ryan started writing acoustic songs to pass the time, drawing inspiration from folk and bluegrass bands like The Devil Makes Three. After a few months, he recorded those tracks with Dustin engineering in the studio. When they listened to the bare tracks, Dustin borrowed a stand-up bass and added to them. Tommy then picked up the mandolin for the first time, and Michael Jacobs joined in with his guitar and songwriting skills. Soon they were having jam sessions on Dustin's front porch. Done for Good decided to basically go acoustic, and eventually just became Poor Man's Poison in the summer of 2009. Poor Man's Poison was invited to perform at a one-off show at a local wine bar, Lush, and that immediate acceptance from the audience confirmed that they should just continue as a band. Soon enough, they all got to work. The boys ended up working pretty damn fast. They finished writing their debut album in under 30 days. Doug Archer would become their manager in November, managing much of their business and taking care of all their bookings. I guess it would make sense to talk about their sound. Poor Man's Poison is mostly known for that acoustic sound, as I said before. Some will call them folk, bluegrass, Americana, country, rock, pop. However, being labeled under a genre will upset musicians. Dustin has said that the band can't be categorized into one specific genre. I just say folk, honestly. Many fans of the band aren't really fans of that traditional country style, but they seem to adore this sound. Most of their songs seem to cover the shattered heart of a broken, sad man while discussing how messed up the world is and wanting to revolt. Now, what is the story behind their name? Well, their name doesn't really have an insane, crazy story behind it. Basically, it was just hard for them to find a name, so they just end up with that. This is why they invite fans to make up their own meanings. Maybe it's about alcohol or overcoming the vices that hold you back in life. For the rest of their career, they want to be remembered as this small town independent band. They handled every aspect of their music, including songwriting, recording, mixing, and producing, all in their house. From this point, PMP would go on to release 3 studio albums and one 2012 live album at the Fox Theater in Hanford between 2009 to 2014. Let's begin with their debut self-titled album released on September 10th, 2009. When you're going into this record, expect a mix of warm guitar textures with mellow harmonies and a brief mandolin solo every so often. Their sound here overall is just a big warm blanket, or maybe like a beautiful sunshiny day. Sweet catchy melodies that will relax your ears. Sure, it doesn't have the most diverse set of instruments. A few of these blend into one another, which does hold it back from its potential. A damn solid debut with several lyrical highlights. Incredible lyricism on Devil's Price, being warned of the devil's temptations by a man who has been down your path before. A path of alcoholism, drug addiction, and paranoia. Many have seen this devil to be someone's dealer, so you'd be paying the devil's price to get what you want. Greedy Man goes on the idea that having money isn't a bad thing, but worrying about it is foolish as you won't keep it when you die. My favorite is the depressing, hopeless closer Long Way Home that explores his preparation for your inevitable downfall that is utterly devastating. Despite its light tone, At the Wind's Will is pretty dark, seeing a group of sailors accepting their fate with one last toast. The infectious Forget My Name is when you're trying to move on from a toxic relationship where the honest always you reflects on an old flame believing they were the one, cleaning yourself and starting anew on Hello Rain and River Song, featuring blends of spoken singing and this live atmosphere, acknowledging you've lost control of yourself and that feeling that you can get better on a foot lost, times when you need to take a breather and slow down, and the desire to keep on fighting as you walk this path of life and prepare to face challenges and walk in. Don't let them break you down. The guitar-led intro is a bit too long though. Lastly, Christmas Beers is quite interesting. I don't know why, but I feel like this is some sort of joke due to how over the top it is. All about getting drunk on Christmas to cope with the fact that you won't be spending the holidays with your family due to poor life decisions. Either way, it's going on my Christmas playlist. After this release, they went to work on their second album, Friends with the Enemy. John Bell temporarily joined the band on Dubrow for this album. It was released on January 11, 2011. Their mixes now feel a lot more filled out with the additional guitar arrangements. Ryan is a lot more confident vocally, you can tell. Those commanding vocals on Georgia Lawman that sold the intense atmosphere of the lyrical content, seeing a couple of outlaws living their life rebellious and eventually facing death. There's also an excellently written and performed play on the prodigal son, where he went off on his own to live life his way until he lost all those riches he was given and now he has nothing to offer. The boy will find himself crawling back home. As a religious person, I adore these references more than most, asking God to set you free in spirit and escape the demons that control your flesh on the creeping vibe of Friends with the Enemy, only assisted by that Madeline. Plus, Crown Vic Headlight sees the narrator driving drunk, crashing and praising the Lord here and nobody around him didn't perish. This is probably what my own friend Ryan thinks when he drives home after a pack of Budweisers. Anyway, A Place of Friends is pretty damn depressing, accepting the loss of your friend by remembering all the good times until you can't. It really reminds me of the Liam Payne situation I was recently, RIP. A lot of broken-hearted subject matter, but there's always encouragement. Being trapped in an addictive cycle while being warned by others to jump off this train, heading towards disaster and jump that train. You could find yourself moving on from a breakup on moving on, regretting your poor life decisions on composure, or facing challenges head on through battled hands, containing that phrase, repeated multiple times to nail it in your head. I also adore the anthemic call for soldiers, this look into a heroic journey of a soldier. As for the up-tempo, high-spirited change, I can easily see why this is one of their most popular songs. Irresistibly catchy, hoping for a change to occur, seeing all these terrible things going on at the moment where it seems like nobody wants to take care of others in their country. But that devastating raw closer Father's Day seals this impressive improvement. A divorced father breaks down his feelings of his wife getting full custody of their kid and not seeing his son again. The only way he could celebrate Father's Day from that point was turning to God the Father. We'll address this theme more on the next record. Doug submitted Poor Man's Poison to a radio station contest for the Texaco Country Showdown. It would take their second time competing to really get a big one. They didn't progress much during their first attempt. They were selected to perform live in Santa Clarita, where they competed against other finalists and won that round. This victory advanced them to the state round at Knott's Berry Farm, another live sing-off. Winning that round earned them $1,000 and a spot in the regional finals in Coos Bay, Oregon. They won in Oregon, which earned them a paid trip to Nashville to film and compete in the finals. In September 2012, Poor Man's Poison won $100,000 in the Best New Act in Country Music at the Texaco Country Showdown at the famed Ryman Auditorium, aka the home of the Grand Ole Opry. During the finale, they performed their original songs, Georgia Law and Come On Down, with 60 fans from Hanford and nearby areas flying to Nashville on their own to just show their support. They outperformed thousands of other artists, following in the footsteps of past winners like Garth Brooks. After winning, they performed in front of a crowd of hundreds of thousands at the CMA Fan Fest. The band said that they never expected to win, but their manager Doug encouraged them to try. Their prize was presented by the famous 90s singer Jewel. The ultimate goal of the band was to financially support their families, live the American dream, and be their own bosses. After winning the Texaco contest, PMP toured across California. Despite winning a country music kind of contest, the group stated that they never really viewed themselves as country artists. We just played and wrote. and whatever came out, came out. Poor Man's Poison was on their way to becoming an incredibly successful rock band in the underground scene. They were the first unsigned band to ever sell at the historic Hanford Fox Theater. The following year, the boys performed for the U.S. troops at Guantanamo Bay in March 2013 and ended the year opening for the Charles Daniel Band, as well as Darius Rucker and Jason Isbell. It all led to their third album, Providence, on January 28, 2014. This contains their most melodic, warm textures yet. There's just these little things about this record that just makes it their best. Ryan has so much more grit in his vocals across this thing. Nothing has changed all that much in terms of their acoustic style, but the melodies, themes, and performances are at an all-time high. It's like they mastered their sound here. I will definitely be returning to this one a lot. The stomping anthem title track, which has this fleshed out instrumentation begging God to save mankind from their sins as the world turns on its head. How about when you're at rock bottom and looking for anything to save you on the upbeat, twangy come on down with plenty of vocalization? The true highlight is It's Alright. This is a crushing, low-tempo ballad brought to life by this beautiful harmonica at the end of each section. How is this the least streamed song? This is a masterpiece. I generally think this is their best song. Crazy thing is that the message is simple. Accept yourself as you are. Accept your life as it is. There's just something so powerful here. Thus begins the continuation of what was explored on Father's Day. The heartfelt father's lament has him informing his sons that he still loves them equally even if they are both from different mothers. He's messed up in his life, but deep down he still cares for his offspring. 20 Down, accompanied by breathtaking shouting backing vocals, sees him breaking down his pain that his ex-wife has taken everything from him. 6 feet isn't deep enough to bury this feeling. He wants it to be at least 20 feet. One of their longest tracks, nearly 6 minutes, is the anxious cut, The Gallows. My goodness, what a cutting emotional vocal performance. The anger in his voice is real. You can tell he's holding himself back. He hopes that his ex-wife recognizes that he's working on becoming a better person, turning to faith in search of forgiveness and personal growth. Also contains their first piano integrations. What a nice change of pace. Speaking of that, is that percussion on the band's named track, Poor Man's Poison? There's this knock that comes in during the second verse that caught me completely off guard. This is the band that is like completely acoustic. It must be some sort of conga. It's also on the closer, Redemption. Both go on about the toxicity love can bring and sometimes just better be alone. This has him praying for some sort of redemption after everything this girl put him through across this record. The catchy driving Hey Mister has this guy hitching a ride from God to get out of this situation. Pressure Cracks advises this woman who ripped his heart out to leave him alone and let their love go. Don't even try to rope him in again. Only cemented by Black Sheep, cutting off this girl completely, feeling like this girl means nothing to him after all the pain she's put him through. This black sheep in his life. That switch up on the third verse was wonderful. Finally, a withering man in his last moments, preparing to see God in the afterlife on the cryptic, wayfaring stranger. Those harmonies on the final half are angelic. It was pretty clear at this point that Poor Man's Poison was on their way to break out of the underground scene. But after this release, the band temporarily split up when they were at their peak. It turns out that things started to get more real and more stressful to keep up with the industry demands and audience expectations. This music stuff was only something they did for fun. It was a debate of making this a passion or career. After the boys split apart, some members pursued new careers while others started families, allowing them to step back from the constant touring, show preparations, practicing recording and writing that left little time for their families. Some of them didn't even want to do music again and would continue their lives without fame. Dustin became a registered nurse. Ryan became a plumber. Michael now owns a wedding venue and invests in real estate. And Tommy works at his brother's earth moving business. But Ryan would soon form a couple bands like Russian Money and Ryan Dean and the Bricktops to fill the gap in 2015. Similar to the band they came from, this new group was gaining popularity, booking multiple shows across California. Their music combines rock, blues, and soul with a modern flair. They ended up not really lasting too long, but you know, it was the thought that counted. After a while, something unexpected happened. Their music began spreading worldwide through Spotify and Pandora. Their songs were thrown into suggestion algorithms and playlists alongside similar bands, helping them reach new listeners. By January 2019, they had 30,000. Providence was now receiving thousands of daily streams. As their popularity grew, they agreed it was time to create new music to feed their new fans. However, their lives and schedules had changed a lot since those days in the early to mid 2010s, making it difficult for all 4 members to be together at the same time. Thankfully, since Dustin handles their recordings, they were able to write and record at their own pace despite their busy schedules. On March 24th, 2019, they were announced to be in the recording process. With the way people listen to music changing since they stopped performing, aka nobody buying albums anymore, or even having enough mental strength to listen to one in full, they decided to put all their effort into singles instead of rushing to produce an album. They just wanted to focus on a few songs at a time and release higher quality material more frequently. While they wouldn't perform live at the time due to their different schedules, they were now committed to marking a new beginning for Poor Man's Poison. But if they were going to return, it needed to be fun. This new chapter began with their most popular song to date, Hell's Coming With Me, on December 13th, 2019. It's a story-driven track beginning with this boy being outcasted from his community, but warns that when he returns, he'll bring hell with him and wreak havoc. A much slower section. After this, he describes hell as this place at the bottom of the world filled with lost souls that spews doubts as the strings and guitars pick up in intensity. At the bottom of the bottom is a town home to a black magic preacher who I believe to be Satan himself. He'll teach you things, but those things won't get you into heaven. Once he had secured his promise for revenge, he warns these greedy, soulless individuals that you'll know when he'll arrive once the bell tolls. The way I interpret this track is Jesus Christ being crucified and warning these people that he will be back as he descends into hell to free the spirits imprisoned. You see in verse 4 where he is seen as just another soul passing through the valley, but they didn't know he was there to burn it down. Verse 5 would then see Jesus breaking down the doors of hell, taking the keys from Satan, which causes every soul to fall to their knees. He speaks as the righteous hand of God, the man who makes the devil tremble, as he descended to take hell down with him in order to open the gates of heaven. This was received well by fans, and the excitement for new material was apparent. A few months later, we received their longest track to date, Let Us All Down, on March 3rd, 2020. Heading into COVID season, they were at 40,000 monthly listeners. This very long, progressive track is a theatrical string-led anthem about this disappointment of being let down by someone or something you trust. In this case, the government, for how they handled the pandemic. Afterwards, the quartet put out the stomp and clap banger, Feed the Machine, on July 17th, 2020, and it reflects events from that time. Many creators produced fan-made remixes and animations based on the song, which very much boosted the song's popularity. This was another COVID-centered track discussing how much it divided our culture, where nobody benefited besides the organizations and politicians we put our full trust in to survive. In 2021, they started an electronic side project called Dr. Villain, led by Dustin and Ryan. Their single This Is the End was released on August 13th, 2021, which was immediately followed up by a 5-track EP, In the End, from PMP. The title track introduces the EP using the effect of a radio changing channels to preview the upcoming tracks that demonstrate the harms of the COVID pandemic, followed by the mellow ballad with more percussion than their previous releases, Good People, wondering where all the good people went that actually cared for others besides themselves. Taking us to the sister track to Feed the Machine, titled Give and Take, seeing PMP hold back this chaos that's about to implode. Then there's the crushing Stronger Than the Whiskey, detailing an alcoholic that tragically died from his addiction. He was simply a stressed out family man that wasn't stronger than the whiskey at hand. The struggle closes this project out by wondering if they're good people. In 2022, Hell's Coming With Me saw an unexpected resurgence in popularity through TikTok. It climbed up streaming charts, reaching about as high as number 2 on the global Spotify viral charts. During February of 2023, it produced 1 billion views for YouTube shorts of mostly Minecraft content. To capitalize, PMP and Dr. Villain would put out 2 projects, which were these 3-track EPs in 2023. Poor Man would release The Great Big Lie on April 7th, and in November, Dr. Villain released Welcome to the Show. I actually want to quickly shout out the artwork from Prague artist Igor Gruskitsky, who they found on Reddit. It really tells the story of this song through the art perfectly. Let's Go might as well join Feed the Machine and Give and Take as this political machine trilogy. I mean, he literally mentions the latter. A lack of trust in politicians who control this machine to get them betraying each other, dividing each other, and lying to their faces. The mid-tempo string filled The Mask in the Mirror is about putting on a mask to hide your true feelings. Dream reference? Okay, I'll stop. Finalizing with a spoken word message detailing how this music has been his escape from reality on Vamos. Going forward, PMP are interested in returning to live performances, but they want to ensure the timing is right. They feel like they need to put more work into production and incorporate other instruments and elements to blend their old and new sound. Thankfully, their momentum hasn't slowed down. Heck, it seems like they're just getting bigger as the years go on. The band recently saw a surge in popularity in October 2023 when their song Feed the Machine was used to protest against the Minecraft mob vote, an annual event where players vote to choose one of the 3 mobs to be added to the game. The options include crabs, which spawn in mangrove swamps and drop a crab claw that increases the player's building distance by 1 block, armadillos, which spawn in warm biomes, curl into a ball for protection and drop a armadillo chute used to craft protective armor for tame wolves, and penguins, which spawn on stony shores, are slow on land but fast in water, and can speed up nearby boats. All great ideas, which was the problem. All it did was divide the community and show Mojang's laziness and lack of confidence with their own game. This campaign spread quickly, inspiring numerous TikTok videos, including parody revolution posters calling for the end of the mob vote. These posters are just amazing, just look at these. These videos were getting millions of views within days. By October 10th, the petition had surpassed 300,000 signatures, prompting a new goal of 500,000 signatures. It peaked at 400,000 signatures before the vote. In the results, the armadillo took first, followed by the crab and the penguin. But as of September 9, 2024, Mojang officially canceled the Minecraft mob vote. Ryan Cooper stated, "We're changing the format for Minecraft Live and retiring the mob vote to bring you something new. I guess the poor man's protest worked after all." If you're looking for a completely independent, underrated band that is involved in everything when it comes to their music, including Dustin's wonderfully balanced engineering, Poor Man's Poison is the alt-country folk band you need. The attention to detail in their lyrics, the passionate singing, lush harmonies, and simplistic yet sweet production makes them a definite recommendation. It's the type of stuff that you can't help but smile at. I think each generation of music listeners can appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, like and subscribe for more bass content. I'll see y'all in the next one. Make sure to love all, and peace.
Thank you.